This is the worst thing I've seen in nearly 10 months of genocide. Because as I watch the most powerful lawmakers in our country applauding our century's Hitler, I'm seeing it all again. I'm seeing all the dead babies, the crushed bodies buried under rubble, families screaming in grief for their deceased loved ones, the IDF soldiers gleefully bragging about hunting people for sport, the accounts of torture. I'm seeing it all, and that's what they're applauding. This can't be reformed. All of these people standing and applauding have sold their souls in exchange for a modicum of power and a luxurious lifestyle in the few decades we have left that are habitable on planet Earth. Scientists agree that we have 10, 20 years before we hit 2 degrees Celsius of warming and our planet starts to experience catastrophic loss of life that makes Gaza look like a blip in an ocean of suffering. And these people are not going to save us. And the biggest difference between liberals and leftists is liberals believe in the shell game, that if they can just swap them out in a couple of years, maybe someday they'll get the right people in to save us. But leftists know it's not the people sitting in the seats that's the problem. It's the seats themselves. It's the system. The system cannot save us. We will have to save ourselves. And that is scary. Really, really scary because no one can tell you how exactly it can be done. But I think step 1 is a critical mass of people accepting the necessity that this won't save us, that this cannot be reformed. It must be undone and replaced with something radically, transformatively different. And liberals love to talk down to us and say, oh, that's never going to happen. That's magical thinking. Okay, liberals, but what's your plan again? Your plan is to swap out these people every 4 to 6 years in hopes that over time they'll incrementally make these tiny changes and find some way to save our planet from annihilation while still profiting the fossil fuel and weapons manufacturing industry? We have 10 to 20 years to change everything. The planet has finite limits. So who's really doing the magical thinking? Liberals say, oh, but we have to vote Democrat to save the country from fascism. But my dudes, this is our highest chamber of law applauding the most fascist genocider this century has seen. They've extracted dozens of billions of dollars of our wealth to send to this mass murderer so he could murder close to 200,000 Palestinians. That's fascism. Fascism is already here. Democrats, alongside Republicans in blue and red states alike, 69 cop cities are being built or planned where cops are going to practice how to beat your ass better if we ever do another protest or mass mobilization. This is fascism. And they learn these techniques from the IOF. And it's true, there are different flavors of fascists between Republicans and Democrats. Around half of congressional Democrats skip Netanyahu's speech, something that shows the effectiveness of the uncommitted votes movement. The effectiveness of the movement for Palestine shows the Democrats are feeling the squeeze, like, oh shit, we don't want to be seen clapping for Netanyahu. But they've still voted to send him billions of dollars multiple times over the last 10 months. Blood is all over their hands. And while the person who's leading the blue team skipped yesterday's congressional address, probably because of the bad optics, she's also said there's no daylight between her and Joseph Genocide Biden on Israel. And she's going to be meeting with Netanyahu in private, so we can't see what she's promising him. And yesterday, she didn't reserve her outrage at the fact that Congress was welcoming and giving a standing ovation to a mass murderer. She reserved her outrage for the courageous people who protested that and burnt a flag. She's demonstrated no sympathy for the burnt Palestinian children murdered by the bombs we continue to send that she is promising she will continue to send. No. Just sympathy for a burnt piece of fabric. This is the person who is giving you hope. And so many of you in my comments have been apologizing for her, saying, oh, as vice president, she doesn't have any real power. How can she go against what Joseph Biden has done? Of course she can. I mean, I'm not vice president, but I can speak on these things in front of you. What you mean is, like, finish the sentence. She can't speak up for Palestine without losing her power. She can't speak up for Palestine without losing her place as the Democratic nominee. Finish the sentence. She can't become the president without being complicit in genocide, because that's what the Democratic Party demands. For my part, I'm with her And this is the only congressional Democrat that has an ounce of my respect. But if you think it's possible that we could someday elect, a Rashida Tlaib to every single seat in Congress, the fact that someone with courage of convictions ended up in that chamber is an aberration, is a mistake. And these powers that be will never let someone like this become president. So what are we going to do about it? What's my plan? Again, I don't have all the answers, but I strongly believe that step one is millions and millions and millions more people accepting the facts and the reality of the situation, that massive change is what needs to be done. This week, as always, I'm giving away a signed first edition author copy of my book, The Free People's Village. If you think I'm just the worst and you just can't understand why I'm like ushering in fascism the way I am, I'd really encourage you to pick up this book. But if you want to enter to win the signed copy, here's what you're going to do. Go to my Linktree and donate at least $5, but as much as you are able, to the Rafat al-Arir camp. This group of organizers are putting together prenatal and postpartum care for some of the most vulnerable families in Gaza. Then you're going to send a screenshot of your receipt to t4gaza@gmail.com. And you'll be entered to win the book, which is all about how Democrats can't save us, told through the story of a punk rock band at the center of a mass protest occupation movement. So, pretty relevant.